This interview is part of the History Heard project. The content of this interview may be used for historical research. However, no part of the video itself may be reproduced without the express written permission of an authorized representative of History Heard. Today is January 3rd, 2010 at 1:30 p.m. This is an interview with Steve Huntington in Bradenton, Florida. He was born on August 13th, 1951 in Oceanport, New Jersey. Should I redo that? Okay. You attended the Woodstock Music and Art Fair, better known simply as Woodstock, in 1969. This year marks the 40th anniversary of the festival. What was that like?
It was a big event, a life-changing event. I think many of the hundreds of thousands, crowd estimates vary, many of those people that attended that would probably go along with that because it allowed people to see and feel for themselves that the youth culture was something other than what they were being led to believe it was through media and through their parents. It was a very interesting time. It went viral, to use a term that exists now, but clearly didn't then, and means something different now, because remember, this is long before the internet and even cell phones. Oh, to have had a cell phone at Woodstock. Oh, to have had everybody having cell phones at Woodstock. I'll give you a tangent. We got separated early on. There were 6 of us. The mere fact that we ever even saw one another again that weekend is a miracle. But about it going viral is there were many other festivals, some that year, many the next year, although every festival that came afterwards was colored by what happened at Woodstock, and that is, what are we going to do about crowd control? You know, how's security going to work? How are we going to have enough portalets and all that stuff? All that stuff that just was blown right through the roof for this one. But so why? I mean, nobody expected more than 50,000 people. And why was it at least 7 times that many? It went viral. People, not on the internet, but listening to radio stations and really speaking with one another and sharing music, came to realize that this particular lineup of music and this particular location, the proximity to New York City and other northeastern places where the kids were growing up, we kids, had a whole lot to do with that. And it pretty much became, gotta go, gotta be there, gotta see what, you know, I mean, and the musical lineup and the way it has been portrayed in history proves that out, you know, that even if you had never been aware of Janis Joplin, but I'm talking about people who were, it proved out that it was worth getting there for that. It means a lot, to get back to your question, it's so funny because now it's, you know, you were at Woodstock? And it's like, yeah, you know, it seemed fairly common at the time. I know lots of people who were. It was wonderful. It was inconvenient, but that tends to get downplayed.
Why did you decide to go?
For some of the reasons I just said. I was a huge music fan, so were my closest friends. And it's probably not been that different in any other era, that you would go to school and say to your closest friends, did you hear such and such? Oh, they played it last night. It's, you know, it's just, it was that exciting. So music was the driving force. Everything else, the communal aspect that's nice. Without the music, it wouldn't even have happened. You know, if that was Civil War reenactment or something, you just wouldn't have gotten hundreds of thousands of people, no matter, or a Super Bowl, which was not quite yet born, or just being born, but whatever. So the music was the factor that drove it all, and that's what caused my friends and I to. We did plan a little bit. We did buy tickets in advance, totally unnecessary to have had those tickets because, as you may know, the fences, what there were down by the very first day. So we were working kids, summer jobs, but that came first, and I was a busboy, and so were, there were 6 of us. I think 4, maybe even 5 of us worked at the same restaurant, and that came first, and had to work Friday night, and had to work Saturday night. So here's a festival that takes place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So what do? We bought Sunday tickets. We got off on Saturday night, got off work. My father let me use his car. Whoa! He's been a fabled hero for it ever since. And we got in that car. You had to take a shower after working in a restaurant. So we all went to our respective homes, cleaned up, gathered by 2:30 in the morning, and hit the road. The road. Traffic uptight at Hippie Fest. By that point, 2 full days into it, and this takes care of the notion of did you see everything, of course. So we gathered in the wee small hours of that night, completely out to avoid the traditional way to get there, which was up Route 17 out of the metropolitan New York area. As Arlo Guthrie says on film, "The throughway's closed, man. Can you dig that?" And the media, here too, viral part B, the media was, do not go. And they were being directed by their conservative news directors and station leaders, newspaper editors, telling their writers, to write that this thing is a travesty, that these kids are wallowing in filth. And, the writer who's there on the scene goes, "I'm not writing that. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, something that is much greater than that." So the media, New York City in my case, but also probably Boston and Philly and Buffalo and everything else the same way. Don't go. Stay away. It is much too overtaxed. So we just said, well, we'll go the back way. We'll just go up through New Jersey, go up, by the Delaware Water Gap, up through Port Jervis, and then there's a little road that goes in, and we'll go in through there. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we knew how to read maps and stuff. And as it was, we didn't get within 5 miles of the place. And you had to park your car because you couldn't go any further. Both sides of the street were completely lined with vehicles. And so you had to pull the car over, get out, and get on foot. One of my favorite memories takes place, now we're at 5:30 in the morning. And so it's not quite light yet. But there's just throngs of people going in. There's some coming out for sure. I can't do it anymore. I'm tired, I'm cold, and whatever. I've seen enough. There were people going both ways. Whenever a vehicle went by, and I don't know how they got the clearance to do it, but if one did, this is the first and I think only time I've ever seen this take place. The vehicle, let's just say a sedan car, would have a driver and a passenger. 2 more in the front if you could. However many in the back it would hold. The trunk would have at least 4 people on it, and the hood would have 1 or 2 on the passenger side. The driver could see, but so that's how cars went up and back on the road with that amount of humanity traveling on it. So